everybody, this is Overboy, and I'm going to be doing my ranking of the Halloween franchise. Uh, as of right now, there are 11 movies in the franchise and everything, so I'm going to rank them from my least favorite to my most favorite. So, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Number 11 is Halloween Resurrection. This is the only one in the movie that I absolutely can't stand. I think it's just a terrible movie. The cast is not very good. None of the characters are likable. They kill off Laurie Strode at the very beginning of the movie, within like 5 or 10 minutes of the movie and everything, so that kind of sucks. And Busta Rhymes is, while he's amusing, he's also not very good in this movie. It just isn't a very good movie, to be honest. I just really don't like it. I liked it even less this time around when I rewatched it and everything, so it's easily number 11. It's not a very good movie. It could have been a good movie if it had been written better and everything. The premise of filming a web series in the Myers house and stuff, it kind of sounds interesting. It's just the way it was executed, which is just really terrible and everything. So that's why it's number 11. And number 10 is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. I think this movie is okay. It's one of the main reasons it's at the bottom. This low at the bottom is mainly because of the fact that it's not really connected to any of the other movies. It's an anthology film and a standalone movie. It's an alright movie and everything. It just isn't one of my most favorites and everything. I do like Tom Atkins in it, and the premise is pretty weird and everything, and kind of ballsy, because I think it's kind of weird that they want to kill kids with these Halloween masks and everything. I think took some guts, because, you know, kids usually are always safe in horror movies and everything. They don't really get killed very often and stuff, so I thought that was a little bit interesting and everything. But Halloween 3, Season of the Witch just isn't one of my most favorite movies in the franchise and everything, so it's number 10. And number 9 is Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. This movie is pretty forgettable. I just watched it the other day, and I really don't remember a lot about it, except that they killed Jamie at the beginning of the movie, and they recasted her. Danielle Harris got screwed over and everything, and that the actress that played her wasn't very good. This is Paul Rudd's first movie, so I kind of remember him in it. I think he was okay in it, but he's obviously not the actor that we've come to know now. That his acting is a lot better now than it was back then and everything. But I do like we get a little bit of info of why Michael is the way he is and stuff. I think that's kind of cool and everything. And I think the portrayal of Michael Myers is a lot better in this movie. George P. Wilbur returns as Michael and everything. I think he did a really good job and everything. He's more brutal and everything, and he's one of the best versions of the character and everything. And there's like a scene in the hospital where he goes on this rampage. It's pretty cool and everything. So, and it's also got a good last performance of Donald Pleasence as Dr. Loomis, so that was pretty cool too. But this isn't one of my most favorite movies in the franchise, but I think it's alright. So Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers is number 9, and number 8 is Halloween H2O. This movie would be a lot higher on this list if it wasn't followed by Resurrection, which retcons the ending and everything. I think this movie had a really great ending. It could have been a great way to just end the Halloween franchise and everything. I hate the way the next movie kind of retcons its ending, so it kind of that's kind of the reason why this movie is a lot lower and everything. I used to have this movie a lot higher in my ranking before and everything, but the the next movie, Halloween Resurrection, just kind of totally run that for me and everything. I do still enjoy it for the most part and everything. I think Jamie Lee Curtis was great as Laurie Strode in this movie. I think it's one of her best performances as a character. And I think that her son, played by Josh Hartnett, was a pretty good character and everything, and his girlfriend, played by Michelle Williams, was pretty good and everything. I know a lot of people don't like it because of it having a Scream vibes, because of it being released after the success of Scream and everything, but I still enjoy this movie. I think it's pretty good and everything. It just isn't one of my most favorites anymore, but it's still a solid movie, and I'd give it I'd say it's definitely worth checking out and everything. So it's number 8 on my list, and number 7 is Halloween 2 from 1981. I think this was a really good continuation of the first movie. I love how it picks up right where the first movie left off, and it still has this, even though it's not directed by John Carpenter, it still has the same feel and stuff as the first movie and everything. But it's not one of my most favorites. I don't like some of the stuff that happens towards the end of it, like the way Michael Myers walks. He's like really slow and everything, and the pacing of this movie is pretty slow too. It does have some good kills though. That was one of my favorite kills in the franchise, where he pretty much boils a woman with a hot tub. I thought that was a really good kill and everything. In the scene where it looks like he's sticking his finger up the girl's butt with the scalpel, I thought that was a pretty good kill too. But this isn't one of those movies that I absolutely love or anything, but I don't absolutely hate it either. I think it's just a pretty good sequel and everything. So it's number 7. And number 6 is Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. This movie was one that I actually was really disappointed in when I watched it the first time and everything. And when I rewatched it, I wasn't really even looking forward to watching it. And I ended up enjoying it a lot more this time around and everything. I guess because I kind of knew what to expect this time around, I was able to enjoy it better and everything. But I do hate that they retcon Halloween 4 and everything because of that and everything. I hate that they didn't make Jamie the killer like they indicated they were going to. I think that would have been a really good way to continue the series and everything. They could have even kept Michael Myers dead and everything and had Jamie as the killer for the rest of the franchise. I think that would have been cool and everything. But I think this one's an alright movie. It's just not one of my most favorites in the franchise, but it's not terrible either. I think this one was just pretty good. So Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers is number 6, and number 5 is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. This is another one like Halloween 5. I didn't really like it when I watched it the first time, and then when I rewatched it, I ended up liking this movie a whole lot more and everything. I love the portrayal of Laurie Strode in this movie and how it really shows how much she's changed since the first movie, and her PTSD, how realistic her portrayal of the portrayal of the PTSD in this movie is. And I love the rest of the cast in the movie. Everybody is really good in it, and especially Brad Dourif, who I think gave an Oscar-worthy performance in the scene where he finds Annie's body. It just was a really awesome performance and everything. He did such a great job in that scene and everything. And Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is just a pretty underrated movie. I can understand why people don't like it, because if you don't like Rob Zombie or anything, you probably won't love this movie or like it and everything, because it does still have his feeling and stuff to this movie, because it and everything. But I still really enjoy it. I think it's a unique take on Michael Myers and stuff, because he's like this hobo that just is walking around and everything, and he kills a few people. He kills some, but it doesn't have a lot of kills. When they do, though, they're really brutal. And I think Tyler Mane is really good as Michael Myers in this and everything. But and there are some things that are kind of weird and stuff, like the white horse and the visions of his mom and his younger self and everything, which I didn't like, but for the most part I enjoyed this movie and everything, so it's number 5. And number 4 is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. This is easily one of my favorite sequels in the original franchise. I absolutely loved Jamie Lloyd, and I thought Danielle Harris was excellent playing her. I loved Rachel. I thought she was a really good character, and I really just thought this was a really great movie. I loved the ending and everything, which of course they retconned in Part 5, but unlike with Resurrection, I can tolerate Part 5's retcon more and everything. I would have much preferred to have Jamie as a killer in Part 5, but I can tolerate what they did with it and everything. But this one is just such a really, really good sequel and everything. So I'd give it number 4. And number 3 is Rob Zombie's Halloween. I really liked this movie. I love how it goes into Michael Myers' backstory and stuff like that. And then the rest of the movie is just a remake of the original, but they do things differently and everything. I do like that about it. And I really like Rob Zombie's style and everything. And I know it's not for everybody and everything, but I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's a great entry in the franchise and a really good remake and everything. But I can also understand why people don't like it and everything at the same time, because even though I love it, I know his style isn't for everybody and everything, so it's understandable. But I think it's a pretty good movie. Like I said, I love the backstory and everything, even though I don't like some of the characters in the backstory, like Ronnie. I didn't really like him, but it made it all that much better when he gets killed and everything, and I like how it makes it understandable why he is the way he is and everything. So but yeah, so I put it at number 3. And number 2 is Halloween 2018. This movie is just so good. Every time I watch it, I end up liking it a little bit more and everything. I remember last year when I saw this movie, I was really, really impressed with how good it was and everything. And I didn't really know where to rank it back then and everything. But after rewatching the whole series together and everything, I'd have to say this is easily my second favorite. I love Jamie Lee Curtis's performance. I think this is probably her best performance as Laurie Strode, and James Jude Courtney was great as Michael Myers and everything. I liked most of the supporting characters. Allison, who is Laurie's daughter, I think that Andi Matichak, I think is how you say her name, she did a really good job as her and everything. I didn't really like the twist with Dr. Sartain. I thought it was kind of dumb and it didn't go anywhere. But besides that, I really enjoyed Halloween 2018, so it's number 2. And number 1 is John Carpenter's Halloween, the obvious choice. Pretty much anybody who ranks these movies would always put this one as number 1 and everything. I just absolutely love this movie. The atmosphere, the cinematography, the score, everything about this movie to me is just perfect. It's like the perfect slasher movie and everything. It's one of the greatest horror movies of all time, and it's definitely one that I think that everybody should see. And even if you're not like a really big fan of horror movies, I think it's one that I would recommend to people and everything, because it's at least one of those horror movies that I think everybody should see and everything. It's just such a great movie and everything, and there's not much about that movie that I can say that hasn't been said before and everything. It's just a great movie. So John Carpenter's Halloween is number 1. Let me know in the comments how you would rank the Halloween franchise and everything. Or if you don't want to do a full ranking, tell me your favorite and least favorite of the franchise. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.